Well, whatever.
Okay. Video.
I mean, Picard is not something everybody's watching anyways.
Audio on. Video on. Picard, take one. Welcome back to another episode of HM and Big E review things. And today we're talking about a continuation of our Picard review series. This is Picard episode 2 and 3. We're not going to review every episode by episode. I'm not even sure after this where we're going to be reviewing it in batches. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But we're here to review Picard episode 2 and 3. Pre-spoilers, what are your general thoughts?
It's pretty much what I expected based on the trailer.
Yeah.
I knew they were going back in time to Los Angeles, and there would be sort of interaction. I would say the general feel is not a whole lot happens. I mean, in the sense of where they're going, the story. We know in episode 2, you kind of have, they set up for the time travel, why they have to time travel, right? Mm-hmm. And then episode 3, they start their journey in Los Angeles. That's what we know. Do
you know how many episodes the season is?
I'm assuming
10?
8.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, Patrick Stewart's getting old. He's like, I can only do 8. So.
Yeah, I think before spoilers, my general thoughts were that this was a step backwards from a very promising pilot. I actually don't remember watching too many of the trailers. Either I didn't watch them or I erased them from my memory. So I was, okay, let's see where this is going. And after the first episode, I was hopeful for kind of a return back to Star Trek form, but this feels like a step back from that a little bit for me in terms of, you know, a lot of the things that we talked about in our first review about the things that I liked about there being a Starfleet ship about
gone.
Yeah. Oh, a hierarchy and people
gone.
Respecting Picard, like
gone.
Right. So all of these things, like, you know, that collaborative decision making, all gone. So I feel that it's a bit of a step back. It's still better than some other Star Trek series, I'm sure I'll continue to watch this one, but I feel it's a bit of a step back. All right, so let's dive right into potentially spoiler territory.
You can go through the plot if you want. It's not very complicated.
Do you remember the plot? I don't remember the plot.
Well, you know, it starts off with, spoiler here, but, you know, Q slaps Picard in the face, you know, because Picard is just...
Do you think they're going to explain that?
Nope, they're going to say, well, because he deserved it, or because everybody abuses this old man in this show, right? Yeah. So they slaps him, and he goes and basically shows him the world that is the new world, the totalitarian society that Picard helped forge, right? Yes. And they do a lot of Easter eggs where they go to the room with all the skulls,
and Gul Dukat and General Markov.
Yeah, a lot of Easter eggs in there, and then basically he finds out he's a total jerk and a tyrant, and he helped create this terrible society. And then they find out what happened to the rest of the crew. Again, not sure why the crew knows that they're apart from this timeline.
Right.
Somehow these 7 people know, nobody else does.
Yeah, and how, I'm guessing, you know, 1 or 2 pivotal actions that were changed in Picard also affected these 7 people to be in other places, and they all still come back together. It's really strange.
They're going to say Q somehow made that happen. Q, because he can, you know, he can do whatever he wants.
I guess, but... And so I just generally think the danger of this, when I was watching this, kind of what went through my head a lot was, you know, those TNG episodes with Q are almost all really, really good. And they're all either I think there might be 1 or 2 that are 2 episodes. I don't really remember. But they've taken what was, you know, what historically has been a 40-minute concept, and they've really, really stretched it out. And I'm not sure that the writing is going to be clever enough to explain that well, right? I think of Tapestry, that TNG episode, great episode, where, again, there was one turning point that Picard actually wishes that he was less reckless in his youth and that kind of stuff, and it explores how he becomes the character that he is. And by taking that away, he becomes, you know, passive, and then he becomes
a junior science officer.
That's right, but leadership is not really in the cards when he approached Riker and Troy, you know. And so I wonder what that event is going to be, and I wonder whether that event is going to be any good when they explain it. And
because of the history of Alex Kurtzman and these guys, I'm sort of saying I kind of feel like it's going to gear up for a massive disappointment where they find the Watcher and it's just going to be a cringy moment, and you're going to say, "Oh my goodness!" So I'm sort of bracing myself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, sorry. Jumping back to the summary, Okay, so Q shows him the room, and then we're brought to show where all the other 6 characters are. 6, 5, 6.
Right, they're all doing different things, and
they're really establishing kind of the Confederate world.
That's right. Somehow 7 of 9 is no longer 7 of 9. She's the president of the Confederation,
yes.
and she married her assistant. Some small,
or she made her husband her assistant.
Okay, whatever.
Doesn't seem great at his job.
Yep, not great at his job.
But
so they go and they do the Eradication Day speech.
Yes.
And then they realize this is just terrible. Let's time travel back. Who tells them? Someone tells them that they got to go back to Los Angeles, 2024, at a certain time.
Was it not the Borg Queen?
I think it might have been.
Okay.
Yeah, she figures it out. So
I thought some of the visuals of the Borg Queen when she was detached and just crawling. That's kind of cool. That's nice. That's
whatever.
Nice.
I mean,
horror kind of touches.
Right. And then long story short, they capture her. And they take Rios's ship, and they do the Star Trek 4 maneuver.
On multiple times, Picard remembers that Kirk has done that maneuver a few times. But as you were saying, I think that he forgot all the times that his own Enterprise, the Enterprise D, managed time travel.
Actually, Enterprise E did it in its first contact.
Okay, yes, E did it.
Right,
yes.
And his excuse was, well, we need a Spock or a... But they didn't... Geordi and Worf figured it out, so obviously, it was like literally a press of a button. Okay, so I think it was a little bit that's for dramatic effect.
Yes,
and giving the fans a little bit of tidbit. They even stylized them in the Star Trek 4 style, where they're kind of phasing in and out of time.
Yeah, but with the Star Trek 4 thing, like I think, and I just watched it recently. They go into warp around the sun, and then it kind of cuts to that. But they're like going, warp 8. Warp 9, and they're all still circling around this sun that many times, or it's that big of a sun that they're at warp 9, and
I never
still slowly circling around the sun. It's supposed to be one slingshot.
That's right, slingshot around the sun. Anyways, who cares? They go back in time. They land at
No. But that's the end of episode 2. Is before they do that, the assistant comes on and the jig is
Elnor
up and shoots Elnor.
Yes.
He shoots Elnor, but it doesn't kill him. But when those guns are taken by Picard's team and shoots those guys, they all instantly vaporize.
Right.
But Elnor is just lethally wounded for dramatic effect.
For dramatic effect.
I guess
they press the button. Increase the
the phaser setting to disintegrate. Okay. And that was where which is a good place to stop. I don't like how every episode has to hang on a cliffhanger.
But that's just the style
of modern Trek.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Okay, anyway, and then so they do the time travel thing.
Yes. Then they go back to Los Angeles.
There's mention of Cisco at some point, right? I think there's something about Cisco.
Something. Another throwaway line. Who cares?
But they're saying that. I mean, I guess he couldn't be the Watcher because I think the actor is.
I'm going to laugh out loud if the emissary
is Avery.
Right? Or if Odo is the Watcher. Or they just shove any person. Wesley Crusher is the Watcher. Okay? He shows up with the time traveler.
He could.
Surprise!
But he, of all, given his ending on TNG, he could be the Watcher.
You know what? This is the problem with modern Trek. The fact that we can come up with these ridiculous concepts, but it actually could happen, that's scary. Okay? Because logic's thrown out the window for the sake of, let's get a moment.
I think it might be Wesley Crusher.
Oh my goodness.
Because he did all the promotion. He's been doing so much promotion for all the Star Trek stuff.
But he does that all the shows. Man.
I get that. Yeah. But this is an actual semi-logical way to write him back in. He was with the Traveler. He can, the idea of time and space is a concept, and he can somehow magically manipulate all of that.
It's going to be Noonien Sung.
That's true.
Ancestor.
Yes.
That's who it's going to be, okay?
Well, they did have Brent Spiner, I think, in the exterior shot of the Confederation. There was like a hologram of, I guess...
He's in the trailer.
Yeah. So he's
in the movie. He's in this show. So he could be the Watcher, or that's swerving, and it's going to be Wesley Crusher.
Oh, my money's on Wesley Crusher.
It's going to be Geordi LaForge without the implants. It could be anybody, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, in episode 3, they regroup, and they try to...
They separate into teams, like Star Trek 4, and they all get paired off, or something like that, and Rios goes off. And they all have different missions.
Rios gets
But the main
injured.
Star
is
stuck on a ship to do some talking. Right? With Girardi.
With Girardi, yes.
And then that's when things go sour. Oh, but before that... Picard gets yelled at by Raffi. uh, for making a bad, shocking leadership decision that was terrible because he gave the power to the Borg Queen as opposed to try to save Elnor, a person that no one cares about, not even Raffi cares about.
Yeah, where did that relationship come from?
It came from the writing.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And I thought it was so unbelievable that she was upset about his death and then upset and angry at Picard. None of that is believable.
It's not
that
believable.
relationship isn't built up that she wouldn't be sad. And even if she was sad...
You're trained not to be.
Yeah, you're a Starfleet officer. Like, the captain made a decision for the good of the mission, and you're yelling at him like that?
I think the bottom line is this show...
it's going for cheap emotions.
Cheap emotions, but the premise is not Star Trek because none of the characters are really Starfleet officers. Like, if you think about it. I think it would have been much more interesting if they're Starfleet officers. Maybe one is not, okay? And Picard is an old seasoned commander. He has to take a bunch of new recruits through something, but it's based on Starfleet principles, right?
Yes.
Not based on Raffi going, psycho and yelling at your commanding officer and then calling JL the next moment that no one does, right? And Girardi, who's a murderer, is somehow brought back as
and can outsmart the Borg Queen.
That's right. Stuff like that. It doesn't sit well. So again, they're trying, and then I think the story goes where they just have little adventures in LA. I mean, not much. It's mainly focused on Rios.
Yeah, and the doctor. I forget her name,
and that's.
I think they're setting up with that relationship.
That's his grandmother, great grandmother, right?
No. I think they're setting
he fathers himself. That type of thing, right?
No, I think they're setting up that TOS episode, City on the Edge of Tomorrow, City on the Edge of Forever.
Don't do that.
Where, like...
It's in 2024 or something. Or no, that's...
No, that's something else. But that one is basically the woman that Kirk ended up falling in love with. He has to let her die in order for time to correct itself. And so I'm thinking they might be setting up something similar here, where whatever they have to fix, she has to die for it.
That doctor, random doctor.
Well, they spent like the last 20 minutes, developing that relationship. I don't know. I
hope Elnor does die and they leave him behind.
I think. He's dead. He is dead.
Okay.
He's dead. It's whether...
Oh, they want to resurrect him because of the time stuff. They should just wipe out this crew, and Picard Season 3 is with a new crew.
They all die. When we change the timeline back, they're gone.
They're gone. That's a nice reboot, okay? Yeah. Picard Season 3 is with the TNG cast, okay? Nice reunion on his farm or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
We went through the plot there, which is a little different, but I think we got enough of what we didn't like. Was there anything that stood out as really good to you?
No, again, it's going pretty slow. Like, nothing really happens. Like, Rios is injured, and he talks with his doctor. And he plays with his little kid and gets his comm badge back, okay? And Picard and Girardi kind of outsmart the Borg Queen. And Raffi and Seven
all to find out where the Watcher
taking
is.
Photos upstairs and somewhere, and they want to pinpoint a signal. They got to go upstairs to pinpoint a signal.
The Queen helped them time travel. They convinced the Queen to help them time travel because in that timeline, in the Confederation timeline, she's isolated from the Borg. The rest of of the hive mind is gone.
Yeah.
So she's willing to help them, but she's withholding the information of where the Watcher is? Why wouldn't she just help them? I don't know. Anyway, again...
It's this new Star Trek where they want to throw in cheap emotions. They want to throw in cheap little MacGuffins.
Right.
Because why call it the Watcher?
And that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, Elnor... Right. Oh, end of episode 2. Elnor shot and mortally wounded, and you're supposed to feel really sad for this character that you barely know, and that's shown. That's even told you. They have to tell you that you're supposed to feel sad because Raffi is the stand-in for you. You're supposed to feel sad because she feels sad, and that doesn't make sense at all either.
That's right.
And then the MacGuffin is now we got to find the Watcher. So yeah, I think cheap emotions and MacGuffin is a good summary of episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Stewart, if you're watching, man, I don't know, get out. Don't write any more scripts. I think who's writing these scripts, man?
And also, we really liked you in TNG. And,
yes.
And X-Men. But thank you for watching, Patrick Stewart. All right, what's your overall score for Picard episode 2 and 3? You know what? Let's go from because your episode 1 score was,
I think, is it like a A- or something?
I think so, and I think mine might have been as well. What has that gone down to now?
I would say
overall,
it's probably like it's probably like a B right now.
Yeah.
Sitting nice, firm B.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's a better return to form than season 1, which was like
Yes.
a D minus. But they're just struggling through some of the basic stuff that I think they could have really thought through better.
Yeah. I don't want to go one grade below you again, but I'll go B. I'll go B just to be the same. I know one of our friends that we talked to, Rob. The series is a C for him now, or a C minus. Like he's really losing a lot of faith in this series.
Well, get him on the next one. We can.
We should. We should. Rob will be on the next one where we review episode 4, 5, 6. I don't know,
7, 8
all together because we can't really bear to review more.
It's one of those things where you only have 1.5 seasons left.
I know. Yeah.
Right? If he's not going to do 4 or 5.
Right.
So do you really want to, you got to go on a high note. I hope season 3 is another reboot. And it's just 3 different series.
Well, actually, there might be a chance of that because Strange New Worlds, which I'm looking forward to a lot. I think you're a bit more skeptical.
Because of the track record of these Star Trek shows.
I know, and they have been on record to say that this is kind of a return back to that old Trek. So I believe them. I'm buying all the marketing hype, and I believe it will be. So I'm really optimistic about that. If that gets received really, really well, it's possible that season 3 of Picard, which has been greenlit or which he's committed to doing, could kind of veer back into, maybe people do kind of like this older Trek stuff.
I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful.
We'll see.
Using old characters like Kirk and Spock, it's just not going to go that well. Get a new cast, get a new story, try something new. Oh, that was Discovery. Major fail as well.
Where it failed, and then they had to bring back Spock again. They had to rely on some of that. So, but I mean, Picard is just as guilty. They had to bring back Data, the worst character to bring back, which we talked about last time. Anyway, we're 2 big Star Trek fans, although our enthusiasm may not be showing as much as of recent reviews. But that's our thoughts on Star Trek Picard episode 2 and 3. Until next episode, keep watching things.
And subscribe because we have nobody.
Yeah.